The past few years haven't been very great for gamers.
I can't unironically say gamers without wanting to shoot myself, so there you go. It seems like almost every major game to be released between 2013 to 2017 has been a complete and utter disaster. Now, I was someone who noticed that games were getting worse, and I made a video in 2016 titled,
"Do video games suck now?"
And yeah, they kinda did back then, but something happened in this current year of our Lord 2018. Games stopped sucking. We had Detroit Become Human, God of War, Spider-Man PS4, and to top the year off we had the incredible Red Dead Redemption 2. These are just some of the games that come to mind, and there's one unifying factor between all of these great games. They were all single-player games. Now that's not to say that just because they were single-player, therefore they were good, lest we forget Mass Effect Andromeda, Wolfenstein 2, Middle-earth Shadow of War, Mafia 3, and No Man's Sky being just a few of the disappointing single-player titles to have been released in the previous years. No, it can't be that they were good because they were single-player. You know, I'm really at a loss for words here, guys. I have no idea what made these games great. Not a clue. Unless... well, no, that's not possible. Unless maybe they were fun. You know, maybe that's it. Maybe they were just fun and engaging experiences. Oh, so Jesus Christ! I think that's the biggest thing that was lost between 2013 to 2017, what I will now refer to as the Dark Age. A lot of developers forgot to make their games legitimately just fun. So much of modern game design seems to be locking away whatever fun there is to be had behind a paywall. Look at Star Wars Battlefront 2. It got a single player, guys. That's what you wanted, right? Except I have absolutely no idea why they even bothered. The single player gameplay is a joke, and the AI is broken, and the story is, well, actually, it's about on par with modern Star Wars movies. But is the game fun? Speaking strictly single player, no. Now, what about the multiplayer, which is obviously the only thing they gave a shit about? Well, the objectives are the same every time, the gameplay it just plays out the same every game. I think Video Game Donkey said it best.
There just isn't anything interesting about going into the middle of the map, holding G and hoping nobody shoots you.
I just have to wonder, where's the game design? The only fun you're going to end up having is killing other people, but if you want to be good at killing other people, you're going to need to have the right loot from the loot boxes, which you can buy. So the fun literally gets placed behind a paywall. Oh, you want to play as Darth Maul? Seemed fun? Well, you gotta kill people to do that. How do you get good at killing people? Well, pay us. Everything comes back to being paid. And then when there was a massive uproar against them, calling them out on their bullshit, EA just disabled loot boxes, so you were just left with this really grindy experience. It was just work. Look at Sea of Thieves. Oh, I think I'm the first person to say Sea of Thieves in a sentence since the game came out. Does anyone remember this game? No? Hell, I don't either. I didn't even play it. I mean, we all saw the videos for it. Did it look fun to anyone? Was it fun for anyone? Like, they made this pirate game, and they forgot to put a game in it. Like, where's the game design? You can ride your ship and go on an island, and that's it. Also, it had microtransactions. Even look at games that are generally considered kinda average. Like, look at Far Cry 5. Far Cry 5 was just fine, it was okay, and there was fun to be had, sure, but it was just kinda tired, wasn't it? Remember how fun Far Cry 3 was? Remember how invigorating it was? Just do that again, guys. Also, it had microtransactions. And like, I guess maybe I'm alone here in not wanting anything to do with Assassin's Creed, but I want nothing to do with Assassin's Creed. I just don't like the way it looks. Like, the way it looks, it looks gross. I mean, I'm not saying it's a bad game. From what I hear, it's good, if not a little grindy. I don't know. It just looks boring, I guess. This isn't a professional opinion. There's nothing, like, objective about what I'm saying here. This is very subjective, so don't shoot me down. I just don't think it looks very cool. Also, it has microtransactions. So this video kind of turned into me shitting on games that I didn't like, and it wasn't supposed to be that, as fun as it is to do that. This was supposed to be a sort of, what can we learn from the good stuff kind of video. So getting back on track, for so long these major companies have been telling us that single player is dead, and then you have these massive single player games come out that not only prove that single player isn't dead, single player might be the most lucrative market right now. And I want to just take a moment to address two great single-player games that I feel stand as elephants in the room when having this discussion. Watch Dogs 2 and Titanfall 2. These games, by all accounts, were pretty damn amazing and they didn't sell well. Now, some at the time may have looked at that as evidence that single-player games just can't do well anymore. That's wrong. Both these games were sequels and franchises that were possibly the entire reason that the Dark Age even happened. Titanfall and Watch Dogs set the stage of this generation, and they did this by pulling down their pants and dragging their asses along said stage like dogs on a rug. So it is no surprise that when these two franchises came back a couple years later on the stage with their sequels, no one bought tickets to their show. Even though their show was pretty good this time around, no one wanted to take the chance of them dragging their asses on the floor again. But the main point is that what makes games good is having fun, and having something engaging you to make you keep having fun. Most of the time, if not all of the time, that engaging thing is a goal or a gripping story. Spider-Man broke records, Red Dead 2 broke records, God of War broke records, and now we have Kingdom Hearts 3 coming in a couple of months. Good luck getting engaged with that story, but it sure looks like a ton of fun, doesn't it? With all of these awesome titles, it's hard not feeling like video games are coming back to be good. Not just mediocre, but amazing. I mean, back before the Dark Ages started, games were so good that they were almost rivaling movies as forms of entertainment. Remember how The Last of Us set such a high standard in 2013 for being not just a game, but an experience? As so many people like to say, they like using the word experience. I mean, that's not to say that there were no good games. There were absolutely some god tier games, Witcher 3. I'm just saying, I mean, we've had so many absolute dumpster fires in the past 4 years that to have games not only be as good as we remember them being, but actually surpassing what we remember is a little bit jarring. It feels like we're back on track and not completely derailed anymore. Remember how a year after the groundbreaking Last of Us came out, we got the absolute travesty that was the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie licensed game? Well, Spider-Man 2018 on PS4 is not only better than the Amazing Spider-Man 2 movie license game, it's better than the Spider-Man 2 license game on the PS2. You know, what was once highly regarded as the best Spider-Man game ever made? No one can touch it? That's no longer the case. Spider-Man PS4 achieved what many thought was impossible for the last decade, and is better than that game in like every way imaginable. Remember Red Dead Redemption, a game I and many others considered to be a sort of magnum opus for Rockstar Games, a game company that makes a Game of the Year with almost every release? Red Dead is their best title, how can they ever top this? Well, Red Dead Redemption 2, once again doing the unthinkable, is better than the first game. In every single way, almost on an objective level, it's just better. How'd they do it? They didn't ignore the past. They built on it. And I think that's the heart of the issue. Fallout 4, and I guess Fallout 76, you want to pretend Fallout New Vegas didn't happen and that there's no way you can improve upon the expectations it set? It happened, and you could have improved. Also, we all thought that Rockstar was going to go down that monetization route and make an online-only game with the success of Grand Theft Auto Online, but it actually turned out that Bethesda went down that route, so screw you, Bethesda. But Far Cry 5, you want to pretend that Far Cry 3 didn't happen, that there's no way you can improve upon the expectations it set? It happened, and you could have improved. Star Wars Battlefront 2, perhaps the worst offender. You want to pretend that a Star Wars Battlefront 2 didn't happen and that there's no way you could have improved upon the expectations it set? It happened, and you could have improved. In my recent video on the Fallout franchise, link in description, I talk about formula, and expanding upon that, a great game is a lot easier to follow up than a great movie. A great movie sequel has to be different than the first, yet still feel like a continuation of the story. It has to be engaging, and it has to check a lot of different boxes. A great game sequel just has to improve on the basic formula and mechanics from the last game. It has significantly fewer boxes to check off. Mass Effect 1 is clunky but fun, but Mass Effect 2 is significantly less clunky and more fun. To make games better only requires that you, well, play the last game and find out how to make it better. Assassin's Creed 1, kind of a shit story, kind of clunky, kind of shit and repetitive gameplay. Assassin's Creed 2, better story, significantly less clunky, and better overall gameplay. Look at that, you got 2 blades this time because it's Assassin's Creed 2. You can dual wield 2 guns this time because it's Red Dead 2. You see games like Red Dead 2 and Spider-Man and all the others, and it just goes to remind you that it's not unreasonable to expect a sequel to improve upon its predecessor's mistakes. You just have to know what those mistakes are, and I look forward to the future. I look forward to Kingdom Hearts 3 and The Last of Us 2. I look forward to games getting back on track. Hey guys, I'm an egomaniac. If you don't like this video, how am I gonna know if my opinion is valid? If you don't subscribe to my shitty little YouTube channel and leave a shitty little comment down below, how am I going to know that I am worth something, huh? Please like my video and share it to cure the crippling feeling of emptiness. Thank you.